Great day, parents. Welcome to our Thanksgiving installment of the weekly message.
The higher you build your barriers, the taller I become. The farther you take my rights away, the faster I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh no, something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong.
So, parents, on this weekly installment right before Thanksgiving, I wanted to take this opportunity to let you know that marking period one um, was a very interesting learning experience. And I'm going to take that information and those experiences from marking period one, and we're going to see what we can do to make marking period two a little bit more impactful. So, out of the gate, I want to share with you your role in all of this. Um, for a select few of you guys, you're going to be receiving from me either by way of a text message or an email the following message stating that I want to set up an intervention meeting. As you guys know, I've shared with your students that I have an expectation that 70% of my students will pass their Regents exam the very first time. I've shared with them stories about how busy I am in the summer for students that didn't, they were counting the time instead of, I say don't count the time, make the time count. And I basically says that while you're in class, just don't take up space. Try to absorb as much as you can. So I've shared stories with students about how students have to come to me in the summer because they didn't figure it out during the school year, and they got to tie up their summer studying for this Regents exam. My hope is that most of our students will get it the first time. However, the reality is that based on the habit patterns and the overall desire level that some of my students have shown me in marking period one, I got about 25% of my students that are in position. That's unacceptable. I need 75% of my students in position. And that means you and I got to talk. And we got to talk so that your students and our students understand we're on the same team. So look for that information to come to you, or just reach out to me and say, Mr. McCrae, when can we make this conference happen? Um, Many of you guys have not, or you either have gotten your the students' report cards, or you will be getting them over the next few days. And I'm proactively letting you know. Let's get together. Let's have a conversation. A couple suggestions I have for you guys as parents, and I have a little experience with this, being that I have a sophomore and I have a college senior in my household. I get it. They talk all the time in class. Here's my solution. When my kids were in that place, I just took away the electronics, and I wouldn't give it back to them until I saw a turnaround in behavior that could be demonstrated on the report card. Number two, my kids didn't study. Your kids are not studying. Very easy. Very easy fix. Have them spend a half hour in front of YouTube. Instead of having the hip hop music going on, put on my YouTube channel. Some of them need to hear the material more than once. Some need to hear it more than 3 or 4 times. They just need to keep hearing it. And the beauty of it is I don't have to reteach something that I've taught them already if they haven't watched the video. They just need to go ahead and watch it. Third thing I share is very little classwork is happening, guys. But as parents, you can change that. You guys have the power. Make them stay after. Monday and Tuesday, I have bus passes. There's no excuses. I even feed them. There's no excuses. If they don't know what they're doing, they need to get some one-on-one assistance from Mr. McCray. All right. Mondays and Tuesday, I'm available. Thursday, I have another math teacher available. If it was warranted, I would even create another day so people could be available. But the bottom line is, we just got to mandate them. They're not going to show up on their own. You guys and I were 12 and 13, 14, 15 ourselves. We get it. I've created intervention groups, guys. This is not going to happen on its own. I got to force the issue. And what I mean by that is students are doing great. Students are doing okay. Some students are doing horrible. The students that are doing great, they only need to see me 2, 3 days a week. Some students are doing okay. They're going to see me 4 days a week. Some students who are doing horrible, we're going to spend 20 or 30 minutes in small groups every single day together to make sure they have the material. Now, a natural question is, what did the students do when they're not with me? I'm going to talk about that in the next slide. What you need to know is that coming back from the break, this Wednesday, we are going to have our normal weekly quiz. All right. And Thursday and Friday, we got something called a mock quiz, a mock regents, where they're actually going to sit and take a sample. We're going to recreate the experience they're going to have at the end of the school year taking that regents exam. And then we're going to be able to compare where they are right now, their bench or their baseline. And then we're going to compare it again at the end of the year. And the goal is to see how much have they grown. What kind of growth can we see? Okay. All right. So video's roughly around 7 minutes. We're going to shut it down and we're going to come back with part two and, finish talking about the video. What I will tell you, parents, is at the end of this, I'm going to put in a brief clip on something called Failing Forward by Denzel Washington. I hope you share it with your students because I think it might impact them and help them in a beautiful way. Okay? Be back shortly.